Hello, and welcome to the preview for Hidden Realms, The Mummy's Tomb. This is a roll and write game that sees you descending into a tomb full of treasure, but also the Guardians. Across 20 rounds, you will map out the maze of passages as you acquire the riches and magical items, defeat the monsters within, and seal off all the exits before you escape the mummy and live to tell the tale. By the end, this all contributes towards your fame and your final score, and you either play competitively against your friends, or you go solo for a score attack and attempt to complete the achievements in the book. So for a quick overview of how a turn works. You roll 2 dice at the start of the turn, and everyone gets these 2 numbers for the round. Players individually can also spend coins and place tiles to gain more dice, and you can have up to 4 each round to use. You can spend them in various ways. You can use them for laying tiles on the map. You can use them for defeating enemies you've already encountered. Or you can also trade them in for playing rooms or using general magical items if you feel like you're getting a bit desperate. Once everyone's finished spending coins and using their dice, move on to the next round. Then roll your dice and repeat. It's as simple as that. Once you finish round 20, then you reach the end game. Everyone calculates their fame points for each category, which are helpfully listed at the bottom right of the sheet. And finally, whoever has the highest total is the winner. So let's just run through a quick playthrough now, or feel free to use the chapters below to skip ahead if you want to see me talking a bit more about certain parts of it later on. We're going to be running through map 1, which is what was provided by the publisher, along with the rules, which I put in a nice little ring bind. There's not too many, and it even came with a reminder card at the back. Well, I put it at the back, it just came with a sheet for some reminder cards and magic items, which you can also print out and cut out, whatever you prefer. On to the playthrough. And I'm using my cat dice mat today. Meow. I thought, mummies are related to Egyptians. Egyptians quite like cats, so it makes sense to do that. Okay, beginning with turn 1. 1 and a 5. So obviously the first thing to do is decide where you want to start. And I think I'm going to go for this entrance down here on the bottom left. And I'm going to go with one of the number 5 tiles, this crossover here. So every time you use a dice, you just cross out the number. If it's the first time you use the tile, cross out as well, as you get bonuses for using sets of tiles, and then just put it on the map. Obviously they do say to use a pencil because erasing walls is one of the mechanics in the game, but I use a pen and I've got a workaround for that, which we'll probably see later. But yeah, I've used the 5. Now I'm going to go crazy with the 1 and use that big U-shaped one that they've got over there. And because we've placed a tile over some rewards, we're going to get them. So we get 1 key and 3 coins. And yeah, every time you pick something up, you just circle it on your backpack or your log, and then when it's used, you just cross it out. And that will be it, except what I'm going to do is going to spend some coins. So for spending 2 coins down here, you can actually gain another dice for the round. So I'm going to do that. Spend 2 of these, get another dice, and another 1. And this might work out quite well because I'm going to use the short one. So cross that out, cross that out, and because I've now used 2 in a row, I get to circle this bonus here, which then adds to another dice to use. And the little short one I'm putting just here, which does 2 things. Firstly, because I've hit like an actual wall, I'm allowed to finish that, which is good because any open-ended corridors and negative points at the end. And the second thing, if you've enclosed an area, you just shade it out. And that just makes everything far easier at the end to sort out. Now, the number 6 would be cool if I could use that room. And I could put it here as a big there to get the chest and to put 2 corridors into 1. Problem being, you can't overlap your own walls. So that would be there. So I can't do that. So what we'll do then is just get that 6 and use the little tiny corridor. Just here. Don't forget to cross it off, and that sets me up for going for the chest. Now I've used 4 dice. Even if I had more coins, I can't spend any more this round, so I'd have to go to the next round regardless. So let's move to round 2. 5 and a 4. So first up, number 4, I'm going to get this L-shaped piece over there to get a mimic, because I've got a plan for that. It's important to note that with the tiles you can flip them or rotate them any way you like. So I do need to rotate it upwards and then flip it so it opens the other way. Let's put it here. which gets me two things. I get a mimic first, and I've also unlocked a magic item. So this magic item here is one of the ones you can also use for a single dice if you need to, and all it lets you do is add or remove one wall, which is why you need the pencil. What I'm going to do now though is going to spend my 5 to get this mimic I've just done. In order to get the mimic, you also need to spend the key, so I'll just do that. And then just cross them off and circle the rewards. So 2 coins and an exclamation point, which is just mark one off on the mummy. And basically every time you've got 3 exclamation points, you can go and encounter the mummy, which is a good point scoring method. And I'm about to use a couple more things here, starting with this. So first up, magic items are free use, and I'm going to use that to erase a wall because I've got a plan coming up. Cross that. So I want to erase this wall here, and obviously I'm not using pencils, so I can't rub it out. And my method is just to write it in as a secret door. Classic D&D map styling. Next, I'm going to spend 3 coins, which lets me gain extra dice, but I can choose what value the dice is. Cross them out, in which case I want a dice value of 1. Reason being, I'm going to use that big L-shaped room again to go and nab some stuff up there. Okay, which gets me 1 coin, and I've also found the brown golem. Can't get any more dice for now, so on to round 3. 6 and 5. So I've got some good plans for this. First up, the 5. I'm going to use the L, which gets me a reward. Put that there. And I use it here because it enables me to go over that. You can't go over where there are walls, but you can go over entrances, which then shuts off that passage, which is good. And I wasn't planning on the 2, but I've got it. I'm going to use the 6 first to continue what I wanted to do, which is this long room here. Gets me the 1, but enables me to come straight down here. Gets me a coin. So then I've got a plan to use these to get some more points, starting with the number 2. I want this room up here, which is going to go just down here, which is basically closed up this other entrance here, because all the entrances in all these rooms, they just count as a opening at the end of the game, which is negative points. So you want to link them all up, and linking up the actual entrances is positive points. So now it's time to expend 2 more charges of this, max it out, because what I'm going to do is firstly close this off because there's no way I can make any rooms there, and secondly rub this out, or put an S there for me. Then finally spend this 1 up here to put in another short room like before. Don't need to mark over there, but I have now got an ooze. And then that's it, on to round 4. 6-5. Normally I try to use all my coins to get extra dice, but there's something else you can do, which is to help you manipulate stuff, which I'm going to do now. So for each coin I can increase or decrease the value by 1, and it also wraps around. So by spending these 2 coins here, I can wrap my 6 around to a 2, meaning I can build this room again, which lets me find the blue golem. More importantly, now I can use my 5 to do the cross. And all these rooms are already placed on the map. You don't have to put a room over it, you just got to connect up to it. So now that room there is part of my passages, so I get the brown gem, which later on will enable me to do this golem. But on to round 5. 5 and a 2. So first up, use the number 2 for this L-shaped passage, or the T-shape I mean, to get a bonus. And that's going to go over here, which gets me another mimic. And our next step is to use the first 5 to get this key, and then use the second 5 I just got to defeat that mimic straight away for another 2 coins and another exclamation mark. I know exactly what I'm using those 2 coins on. An extra random dice with the hopes I get a 4. 5, not good enough. And so that 5 is just going to start branching out over here. So on to round 6. 6 and 4, and that's the 4 I wanted. In fact, that's the perfect roll for this round, because first up I'm going to use the 4 to defeat the golem. So cross him out, and the gem, circle that, 3 coins and another exclamation. And that third exclamation mark means the mummy's shown up. So you don't encounter the mummy like all the rest of the monsters, he just kind of comes and goes. But each time you defeat 3 of his minions, he's aware you're here, so he comes to find you. But for a 6 you can defeat the mummy, which is what I'm going to spend my 6 on now. And how it works is you Take 21 minus the round number, so round 6, and that's your amount of points for defeating him. There we go. You can hit him 6 times, but he gets better. So I've got 15 points. The second time's the same, but then the third and fourth time you get double the points, and the fifth and sixth you get triple. So ideally, if you can hit him early on 5 or 6 times, you're going to get a lot of points just from that. Now it's time for, 2 coins for a dice. And it's the 5 again. Must be my lucky number. Well, you know what? I'm just going to continue going this way, keeping my options open with another cross, which gives another ooze. And round 7. 5 and 1. I'm going to spend them both. I'm going to use 1 coin to change the 5 to a 4, and then use the 4 and 1 to go over here. It's from that key and a sarcophagus, which I could open straight away, but I'll save the key in case I find a mimic first. And also not forget to mark it this time like I did the other key. Right, round 8. 1 and a 6. I feel like I've got weighted dice. I don't think I've seen a single 3 this game. So the 1 I'm just going to use to close off these things here and get that key. And that magic item is basically just a skeleton key, so you just get 3 uses of that as a normal key. So I'm going to use 1 now to open that coffin. And I hope I can somehow roll a 3 at some point. And then the 6 I'm just going to use up here to get this green gem. And on to round 9. Aha, this works out quite well. So 4 and a 2. The 2 I'm going to use for that thing there to get the blue gem, which I instantly use the 4 on to defeat this golem. Exclamation point, 3 coins. And you know what? I'm going to spend all 3 of those coins straight away for a 3, which I then use to defeat this to get another exclamation and 3 more coins. And I'll just spend 2 of those on the lucky dip and see what I get. It's a 6. That 6 is going to be the long passage over here. Bring me closer to that mimic. Right, turn 10. 2, 4. And what I'm going to do with these is one of the things you can do is you can use any 2 dice to build these 3x3 rooms. I'm going to do that here. You just collect everything rather than build up a silly little passage. So I'm going to go from here and just go straight across. What? Gets me 3 coins and the yellow golem. And I'm just going to go for it now. 4 coins, 2 dice. Let's see what I can do. Aha, 3 at last. And a 5. So the room where I wanted to build my 3 before earlier, I gave up on that. But now I can use it. I'm going to build a passage up this way. So do this long passage here. And it also unlocks another key because I've completed that column. And another mimic in the passage. And straight away that 5 takes it out. For which I'm using the skeleton key. And found the mummy again and 2 coins. And then obviously I can't spend the coins because I've already used them all, so on to round 11. Opposite of snake eyes, double 6. So obviously that first 6 is going on this mummy attack. Because it's round 11, gets me 10 points. I'm going to keep that 6 for the moment, spend 2 coins and see what else I can get. 4. Okay, so first up I'm going to use this 4 to do an L here to get that little shovel. That lets you build a 1 tile room that's got to have 2 or 3 walls. So it can be useful for finishing stuff, extending stuff, altering like where you want to go. I'm probably going to use it in a moment. So first I'm using my 6 up here to do the big room again, the long one. Another key. And then I'm going to use one of these to extend to the end to get to the 3 coins. With a 2 like that for a corner. You know what that means? Another dice. 5. So that 5 is just going to extend me over here with another cross. And on to round 12. 3, 2. Okay, so to start, the 2 gets me this little bend here. Coin and an ooze. So I'm definitely going to unlock a dice with the 3, but first I'm going to spend 2 to roll 1 more to see what else I can get. A 3. Let's hope for something different, something better there. Yeah, so first 3 is going to get me to this golem. Just like that. Cross that off to get me the bonus 4. And straight away the bonus 4 goes into defeating the golem. 3 more coins and an exclamation. And then my final 3, I'm just going to use it to make a beeline for this next magic item. And round 13. 5 and 2. So first up, the coin changes that 5 to a 4, which means I can complete this last tile for a key and a bonus 3. Just go in here. To get me the hammer of smashing, which I'm going to use straight away. By spending this coin, change the 2 to a 1. And use that to defeat the ooze. And using the hammer, even though the skeleton gets revealed, it also gets smashed straight away. It gives me 3 coins and another exclamation. And I'm going to spend 2 coins now to see if I can get a 1 or not. And use that straight away for another smash. And just like that, we found the mummy again. I could spend 3 coins to smash in this turn, but I don't think I will. So I'm going to use the final 3 to go up here to start finishing that tunnel and to get that ooze. On to round 14. Here we go, 3, 5. So we'll spend 1 coin for that 5 to a 6. Now hit the mummy round 14. So 7 times 2, 14 points. I guess another 2 coins for another dice. I'm hoping for a 4 here. Only a 2. But I will spend 1 more coin to switch that to a 1 and use my final hammer smash. And then go on then, 2 more coins for another random dice. Another 2. Okay, so another plan, use my final 2 coins. 1 coin changes my 3 to a 4, and 1 coin changes my 4 to a 3. Or just 2 coins change the 2 to a 4. So the 4 builds me a room. So I can close off up here, get to this sarcophagus, which I can open with the skeleton key, and defeat with a 3. On to round 15. 2, 4. Alright, so that 4 is going to go shut off an exit over here. Or connect it up rather. Before I use the 2, I'm going to use 2 coins to get another dice. Oh, another 2. First 2 is going to be used to do the big T to get this 2 coins here. Which will give me another dice. It's another 2. So you know what? Spend that last coin to change 1 to a 1. And then the 1-2 combo to take out this ooze over here. Only 2 coins for defeating it now. Not as good anymore. But still, I found the mummy a 4th time. So round 16. 6-1. Well, I know where that 6 is going straight off. Mummy. So 5 times 2, 10. I want to get here to get this gem. But if I spend coins to just my roll to do it, I won't be able to do it this turn. So I'm just going to spend 2 to get a 2 to get a dice, and see what I do. 5. Okay, I'm using 5 and 1 to reach this mimic over here. With a corner and a little straight. Alright, round 17, nearing the end now. 6-4. Aha, so 6 gets me this, but rotate it and flip it. I'm going to use one of my 2 remaining shovels. Build a 2 square room here. Collect that yellow gem. And in the 4 now I've got the gem to defeat that final golem. And I guess I'll spend 3 coins to request a 5, which I'm going to use straight away to get this mimic. And then I've got 2 coins to get 1 random dice. A 2. Which I think is going to take me up to this ooze here. Right, 3 turns left. I kind of want to do at least 1 more monster, hit the mummy once more, and then just close off as much as I can. 325. Well, as I need one more monster, I'm going to use that 2 to get one more option and unlock the third sarcophagus. While I'm deciding what to do, I better fill in a bit more of the map. There we go, that makes it a bit easier to see where I can start closing stuff off. I've also kind of shaded these areas, even though I've got an open door. I've just marked the door as open so I remember. And I kind of sometimes leave them unshaded if they're right next to the walls, because later on I could just have a secret door and stick it with a one room if I felt like it. I can't see anywhere useful, so instead I'm just going to use the 5 here to close this off. Stops me losing 3 points for that open door. Normally I've got no coins left, and now's a good chance to have stuff to manipulate to finish off like exact things. Well, and I still need one more creature and a mummy. So 19. 5-3. I think I wrote these on the wrong row. Yeah, so turn 19, 3-5, which works out because spend a key. So open this, use the 3 to defeat this guy, get 2 coins and find the mummy, and then one of those coins straight away turns that 5 into a 6 to smash the mummy. Only 2 turns left, but because it's tripled, that's still a nice 6 points. Right, and I guess turn 20 is literally just 2 dice, 1 room, see if I can get a coin from somewhere to build another room, but I doubt it. 6-4. Actually, so yeah, this is the best option I think I've got. First up, use my 4 to close off both of these. And use my 6, but I'm going to use it for this magic item here to remove a wall. Just there. To finally spend my last magic item use to create a 1 square tile just here to the entrance. Done. Right, time for final scoring. So here's all your categories. So oozes times skeletons, did 4 of each, so that's 16 points. Or 16 fame. Zombies, I managed to do 3, 20 fame. Golems, I got all 4, so that's 30 fame. 4 mimics, so that's 16. Managed to get 5 hits on the mummy, 55 altogether. 5 points for each magic item found, so I've got another 20. Remaining findings, that's anything circle not used but not coins. 1 ooze, 2 keys, 3 points there. Entrances, this is what I did my last turn because I've now connected up all 4 entrances. If you block off an entrance, it doesn't count for that, it just doesn't lose you points, but that gets me 30. And then finally, every opening is minus 3 points. So it's anywhere I've left an opening in my corridors or any rooms I didn't meet. So, you know, that one there from the start, 2 and 3 over here that I was going to link up before I decided to go over there. 4 for this coffin here, or sarcophagus. And that's it. Minus 12. So if I worked it out right, that's actually given me my best ever total, 178. It's pretty amazing. I've been stuck at mid 130s basically the entire time. You know, here's some of the previous plays. So, you know, yeah, I'll take that. And I think it shows experience and a little bit of luck. Does matter quite a bit. Anyway, there was the playthrough. Now, if you're still around, I'm going to do a bit of talking about some feedback I've had from the preview and some stuff I've mentioned to designer and what his replies were. So that was the full preview playthrough for the first map of Hidden Realms, the Mummy's Tomb. Everything there was done as a full game would be. And that will be launching on Gamefound on the 18th of March. So I'm not doing a proper review of it though because I've only had the chance to try the one map. But instead I have gone back to the designer with feedback. In fact, he's asked for feedback as well. So I've gone back with a few things and then I've gone back with questions as well following that. So here's just a bit of the Q&A from what I've asked and what he said. Obviously the main thing was, what attracted me to this was I quite like the art, for starters, and I was like, oh, so is it final art. Is there going to be any changes? Everything, yeah, it's final form, so it's 99% finished. There's going to be no major changes to anything. What you see should be what you get. He also added on, it's not AI art, it's all created by Murto. So Murto and Spyros, they did all of it. The art, the game design, launching the Gamefound, everything. And the rules are finalised too, there won't be any changes there. There are some updates to the rulebook, he said. But that's mostly just adding or fixing some examples in the book and so on. In the rules rather. And yeah, obviously, as I mentioned, I do it with pen because I found it, like, say for example, when I did my map with pencil, I found it quite hard to follow track of what I'd done, especially like marking off the coins and stuff down the bottom. My original suggestion was, oh, what could you do, just dots or small little crosses? He did say in testing they'd done the dots, but people got a bit confused. Crosses sounded like something they could try, but I think what he's actually said he's done is he's made these lines thinner or fainter to make it a lot easier to see where you've marked your walls. So hopefully that should give some better visibility. I haven't seen these yet, but I'm sure they'll have some images of it for the actual campaign. I did ask about the map. I played it quite a few times. Obviously this is map 1, and he has said there's 3 maps with increasing difficulty, but I did ask if there are any more plans for any more maps or more mechanics sort of thing, which linked into the rules bit. And yeah, so there's 3 different maps, increasing difficulty, but the achievements you can do in all 3 of the maps currently. There's a 4th map which has been made, and they're just testing the achievements on that, and there's a 5th map in design, and he plans to have 3 extra maps available for this, so you have up to 6 in total. And then I'd asked about a couple further things. Obviously I said about how I used the secret doors because I wasn't using the pencil because it didn't rub out very well, which he said he quite liked the idea for a new mechanic for future stuff. He also mentioned how there's not a lot of player interaction in this, as there can be in other roll and writes, such as player rolls the dice and gets a benefit of anything. There's no plans to add anything like that in there or change anything majorly, as he already said. But he is planning on some future games, probably after this campaign is completely finished and done, like a Dragon's Tomb or a Fairy's Forest or so on, which could have some mechanics, such as those mentioned, or like crafting items or teleporting or so on. But yeah, that's basically all the questions I had for him and all the feedback. As I mentioned, this was a print and play, print at home, so I found it hard to see with pencil, which is why I went with pen. It means you can do whatever you like, so print these out, but also there was an original copy I laminated. So my first playthrough I had a laminated sheet and did that. Even my pen wasn't very good, or the laminate's not very good, but it didn't wipe off very well, so it's kind of still got a lot of it on there. But that was my original idea, was to laminate and you can go over it again and again and again. But that might be a good option for people. The other thing, I'm tempted to have my own variant where the weakest players or whoever's got the worst scores can reverse draft a starting entrance, and then no one else can use that entrance or something like that, maybe. I have to see how I feel about that. But yeah, anyway, so if you like the sound of all of this, as I've said before, it is coming to Gamefound. 18th of March is the planned launch day, and the link is in the description of the video, so you can check it out there. I'm looking forward to it launching and then being able to try the other maps. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you again after that when I get a proper review of the game as the final product. So if you hung around, thanks for checking out the preview, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.